that expectation. Okay, what's the next expectation? Oh, this is the expectation. Okay, from here, what is the next expectation? Motherhood is the next expectation. So I was
Okay.
always
Yeah.
just like going.
Hola, you are listening to First Gen Healing, a podcast on Latinx healing and awakening journeys. My name is Priscila Luna, and I am the host.
My name is Yazmin Garcia. I'm the owner of Sagrario Arte Studio. And I found you on TikTok, and then I've been listening to your podcast, and it's just, I like the saying divine timing. And it's really is. You said on your podcast that you said, like, you're making this space for Latinas that are healing because you didn't see that. You like, who's doing that? And I'm like, you know what? That's beautiful because that's really similar to what I'm doing. I make art and I make prints, I paint, I make stickers, and I want my artwork to be a reflection of Latinas, of women empowerment, of just healing and love, and like that feeling of, for first generations, for us to be like, we are enough, like in our own skin and what we're doing, and like we're enough, we're good. And so thank you so much and for having me. I'm excited. I'm super excited.
Yay! Yes, I love that. I think like that's what I've seen is also part of the gift of daring to create the spaces that you wish existed, because then you not only do it for yourself and for others, but then you get to collaborate with other people doing the same. So cool, that like, yeah, I think like we kind of see that in each other. And I had actually been craving like having como an artist of sorts on the podcast, because I think like there's different probably different perspectives and way of seeing and processing emotions and all of that. I've had a lot of Latina therapists, as guests, and I know como que pues they have different language, right, for what they've experienced. They process differently, potentially even like they're working through showing up authentically, because they do have to be a bit more guarded in their day-to-day and in their work. And I feel like in some ways an artist is different. Like it is almost like a more raw approach, I think, to things. So my first question is, what resonates most for you, a healing or awakening journey?
I want to say healing because I'm still in, I started my healing journey like officially, I want to say this year. Yeah, this year.
Okay.
And like
Mm.
2020, I kind of like dabbled. I like put my toes in and be like, okay, let me see. But it was this year where I was really like, I'm not okay.
Mm.
I want to change for myself and for my children. And little by little, I'm also like, I do feel like I'm awakening little, but it's still like little bit. So I love it. I really like this because I like what you said. It is very raw and it hurts.
Mm.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
some days I'm just like, I'm not okay. Like what's going on? And then I'm recognizing like what triggers me, what doesn't trigger me. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how it starts. And then also
Yeah.
I was saying to one of my friends, I was like, I have to reparent my parents, reparent myself,
Mm.
and parent my children all at the same time. And it's like, okay, like we're okay. We're figuring this out, all of us together. But it's nice to have that like that pause when you're like when something does trigger you and you're like, okay, why is this triggering me? Like, for
Mm-hmm.
example, the other day, my mother came to me and she was just like, okay, this is what I need from you. And she just started listing everything. And I'm like, I got overwhelmed like real quick. And I told her, I stopped and I was like, Mom, you're overwhelming me. And she
Mm.
goes like, hold on, what? Like, she was caught off guard because like she was just expecting like a yes, Mom. Like,
Right.
okay, like I'll do it. Like I'll be
I got
fine.
it.
And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't like when you come, and I set a boundary right there. I was like, I don't like when you come
Mhm.
to me like that, when you're expecting all of these things from me, when we already planned it this way. Like it
Mm.
confuses me, and at this time, I don't want to do it that way. And she was just like, well, I wasn't telling you, I was asking you. And I was like, no, you were telling me. She was like, you were telling me. And
Yeah.
she's like, okay, okay, ma. Like, she has to catch herself too. Like, it's just like one of those, like, reparenting, or like we have to work together and
Yeah.
see what
It's
works and what doesn't, and set, because she sets her boundaries too, and like I need to respect that as well. And it's it's just interesting to catch those at the moment where you're like, oh, hold on, this is stressing me out.
Mhm. That's so interesting that, like, yeah, you're kind of at that stage. So I'm trying to put myself, like, kind of take myself there. And one thing that stood out is maybe at some point we didn't know they were triggers, right? Like, you're using the word triggers now, but I think, like, or at least for me, when I started to heal, I was like, oh, there are triggers, things that make me feel some type of way. And then you start to like acknowledge them. Before knowing that there are triggers, how does it, like, can you remember cómo se sentía antes? When you can't catch yourself and know, like, oof, this is impacting me?
Yeah, I started therapy, and I noticed when I didn't catch the triggers, or when I was like overwhelmed, I had panic attacks. Like I
Oh,
suffered
okay.
from panic attacks, and to avoid those, like panic attack, I is cuando I catch them. So like I would have panic attacks, or I would have mood swings. I suffer from mood swings, and there was a point where I was like, "Am I bipolar? Like, am I like todo?" Like
Mm.
I was trying to like understand, because one moment I'm all good, but then like one thing happens and it's like, yeah, like I just get, it gets dark, and I'm like now I can catch, and I'll be like, hey, no, like you're okay. Like I talk to myself a lot that repaired, like, no,
Mm.
you're good,
Mhm.
you're safe, you're good. And so like it would, I that eldest daughter kind of syndrome, like I was enojada. Like I would get angry,
Mm.
get sad, and people were like, "You're being rude," and I'm like, "I'm not being rude. Like I'm not trying to be rude. This was just very upsetting. This upset me, and so like I don't know how to express my feelings, and so I'm crying." And
Yeah.
it was hard. It was hard, and especially I officially like started like, I said 2020, but it can go back even to like when I had my first daughter, like in 2026. That was really where I was, because I went into
In
I
2026? No, 2016, I imagine.
2016. There we go. Sorry,
Okay, yeah.
2016, when I had my first daughter. I'm a stay at home mother of three, and I suffered from postpartum, and that was really what
Mm.
I was. It was like a realization that I'm like, okay, I'm not okay. like like I can see it, and like my husband, he's my rock, and he
Mm.
was like, okay, we're gonna get you help. We're gonna start slowly, and it's not until like later on in the years when I had my last baby, where I was like, okay, like I need help. Like I need professional help.
I'm wondering, when you did go through postpartum, like, what were the resources that you felt were available to you or that you did, use?
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't know them. Like my
Okay.
first child, I I was still in that mindset of like, I can do it. I'm fine. Like what? Like everything's good. Like
Mm,
I feel like I'm going crazy, but like I'm fine. Like it's la apariencia. Like I still
la
held that.
apariencia. It's almost also like a mode that we're in, right? Like I have to be able to know how to handle it all. But I'm
Yeah.
wondering, like, when you experience something like that and it's really hard, how do you make the decision to have, let's say, another child? How does that come in, knowing that you just went through, or not just, but like maybe recently went through something it was hard to get out of, as a woman, as a mother, as a like mujer? Do you feel like it's an internal desire, an external expectation? Like what kind of moves you forward into the next phase or the next step?
Like the next child, like I kept popping them out.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, it's very true. And I was thinking about this the other day. Um, I like being vulnerable y todo. I loved being pregnant. Like
Mm.
I genuinely loved being pregnant. And I was like thinking, I was like, why did I like I had a pretty smooth pregnancy and I had like pretty smooth labors, but I like
Mm.
the attention. I just realized.
Mm.
Because when you are pregnant, everybody's like, oh, let me help you, let me do this. And this was the first time that I got that. Like it was never
Oh,
it
yeah.
was the first time where somebody, like, and not just my husband, but everybody was just like, déjame
Mm.
ayudarte, déjame ayudarte. Like, and it was very, it was nice. It was a nice feeling. I loved being
Mm.
pregnant. So
Mhm.
that kind of was into it, but it also was, what motivated me también is my husband is very hands on. So I have a
Okay.
very active husband and like a very active father husband. Yes. And like he was always willing to help. Like willing, like, what do you need,
Mm.
baby? What do you need this, you need that. Like very hands on. So that also motivated me. But then it caught me at one point where it was like, oh shit, hold on. Like this is hard. Like I always tell like new moms, the first year is the hardest because you're getting
Mhm.
to know this person. But once you
Yeah.
made it past the first year, that's like it's still hard. I'm not gonna say it gets easier, but it's like, okay, like I survived like the first year, and I was seeing that um, online the pink flamingos. I don't know if you've heard that about the pink flamingos.
Yeah, like getting your pink back.
Yeah, getting your pink back.
Mm.
It
Yeah.
takes around like for a woman 7 to 9 years to get your pink back after a baby.
Whew.
Oof. Like, and then I was resetting every three
Yeah,
years.
the
I
clock.
was like, oh, shit, hold on. And so like this coming year is going to be the first year, like every 3 years I had a baby every 3 years.
Mm,
And
okay.
this is the fourth year that I'm not going to have, like I'm done. Like my tubes are tied. I'm like we're done. Like ya estoy. Pero it was that, and I I want to be open and honest about that because it was that like expectation first. You have to keep having babies. Like you can't just have one. You have to the second one, and I have two girls. Oh, you have to have a third one. You have to have a boy. So like that expectation of like, oh, keep going. Yeah, yo boy. Like I've always been that like perfectly the perfect Mexican daughter, and it's like okay, like, and then it was not until like I want to say like my last one where I was like, okay, like ya no quiero, like
Mm.
ya estoy bien, like my I forgot what it's called. Like I started realizing and my voice basically like
Mm, mhm.
like and like this works, this doesn't work for me, this is not like okay. Like my husband and I we were we've been together for almost 20 years, so we've been
Wow.
together, yeah, since beginning of high school. We were high school sweethearts.
You mentioned expectation. I'm wondering, like, do you feel like it was said to you? Like, was it family expectation? Was it maybe even your husband's family? Because I think, yes, sometimes without realizing it, we move from one group of expectations to the next, kind of like what you're saying, right? Like, oh, if you have one child, well, you should have a sibling for that child. And then, oh, well, if they're two girls, then you should have the boy. Um, and so, yeah, I'm wondering, like, was it internal mostly or external? Were you hearing it often, so much so that it kept you moving into what was next, even though it was challenging and maybe like a lot at times?
Yeah, I want to say it was very external. I want to say it was external, but starting from like the very beginning,
Mm-hmm.
um, I was born in Guadalajara. So I was brought to the States when I was 2 years old. And so having to like figure that out todo también, but like being
Huge.
raised here in the United States and having those expectations and but still having those Mexican expectations and trying to find like the balance of donde voy, like, so I just automatically was like, who are the expectations that I'm following? My parents. I'm gonna follow my
Mm,
parents' expectations y todo. So when
okay.
I got my boyfriend, who now is my husband, we met when I was 15. So like I remember like anytime I wanted to go out or I wanted to do something, they would be like, "Is your husband is your boyfriend going? Is he going?" Because they liked him. Like right off the bat when they met him, they're like, "Oh, we like him. We like him.
Wow.
He's also Mexican." So like they were like, "Okay, we like him." So they kind of like they were like, "Okay, like is he going? If he's going, you can go. But if he's not going, you're not."
Interesting.
It was,
Okay.
yeah, it was weird. It was very, they're like, if he goes, we know that he'll take care of you and you're okay. But if
Yeah.
you go by yourself, we know that you're going to be in danger. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Oof. I want to
Yeah.
pause right there just because I think like the messaging you're receiving is like you're not safe on your own
Mhm.
and there's someone that needs to kind of watch over you, right? So if it's not us, then let it be a man or like him. Um Not to say
Yep.
it's good or bad. I'm just saying like it's interesting how with or without wanting it, sometimes beliefs and conditioning is seated and it's kind of repeated and we internalize that. And so it not only um it turns into our own beliefs a veces, you know, like, oh, I'm safe when I'm with him, or I'm safe if si estoy acompañada. So, yeah, interesting.
No, it is. And it was very, it's interesting to think about it because yeah, me empujaron. And I don't want to like just
Mm,
say the blame like, oh, they forced me into this. But
right.
they, because my husband and I, he's a cutie pie. He's really sweet. I got, I got lucky really to say like, I was able to build that foundation and build that structure. And it's not until like when I turned 17 where it kind of, I was like, oh shit, hold on, because I had to go, I self deported
You did.
in
Okay. At
2011
the age
of
of
17.
17?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
So
I do want to ask actually, sorry, I forgot.
oh, go ahead.
You mentioned being the eldest. So I think so how many younger siblings do you have?
I have a brother, just a
A
younger brother.
brother. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
yeah, I have a little brother. And starting from like the whole process, my brother had like a speech delay. So like my parents were able to get their residency through him. And
Mm,
then later on, they put me in it. They like asked for me. But at that time, I
okay.
was already 17. Like I was already going to be an adult. So I don't know why or todo, pero I don't, laws of immigration laws are always changing every year, every month, every todo. Desde cuando?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that year in 2011, they told me they're like, you have to re-enter legally. And I'm like,
Mm.
okay. but I'm already going to turn 18. And they're like, okay, so for you to be considered an adult still, you have to go back now. Like you have to leave the country like right now and
Oh,
then
wow.
re-enter. Pero what I was waiting for is my appointment and my immigration appointment for my
Mhm.
residence. And they gave me a time frame of a year to 5 years. So basically I had to live in Mexico from a time frame from a year to 5 years at 17. Because like
Mm,
I didn't know if I was gonna get it, if I was not gonna get it. And they were like, I love my lawyer. She sat with me and like because I was like I was an honor student, I had a boyfriend, I had like my whole life
mm,
here. And
yeah.
she sat with me and she was really like, it's your choice. This was the first time that somebody was like, this is your choice, but this is an opportunity. And I'm like, okay. So I went back to Mexico and I self deported in 2011. And that's when
Wow.
I want to say I woke up. Because like before I was like this teenager, this aquí in Las Vegas and like just playing around y todo. But when I went to Mexico, that's when I grew up because it's like
Mm,
it was the first time where I was by myself. Like my
yeah.
dad was there like the first week, but then he left and I lived with my paternal grandmother
Okay.
for 6 months. And I want to say that is when it really like my depression hit. Like I didn't
Mm,
understand like con todo what was going on, but that was really when I was severely depressed.
yeah.
Like it got really dark and Um, I want to say it's because I closed myself. Like I was just like I'm scared. I'm in Mexico. Mexico is scary what I've heard. And my grandmother lived in a very like urban like in un pueblito kind of you can say.
Okay.
So it was like
Mhm.
away from every civil like more of the civilization of the city. So I just really tended to myself and I was with my grandma and my primas and my grandpa, but not then when I really like opened myself up, when I opened myself up, because Mexico was ready. Mexico was ready for me. They're like, whenever you're ready, we're ready. And so I from my grandmother's house to my tia's house. And my tia lives more closer to a plaza and like
Okay.
more of a city. And so she didn't give me the opportunity to wallow and be sad. She would go in my room and she's like, get up, we're going. You're gonna work with me. You're gonna do this.
Mm.
Vamos, vamos, tú me vas a ayudar. And I'm like, okay, Tia, I'm okay.
Did
Like
it
I
help
just
you?
it did. It really did. It helped me get out of that like fight or flight kind of thing. Cause like
Okay.
I would go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and I would wake up at 5 p.m. the next day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I would sleep the whole day. Like,
And you didn't have to go to, so I know you said you were 17. So you didn't have to go to high school or you got to finish it here?
yeah. So when I came back, that's when I finished it. I
Oh,
did
when
not
you came back.
want to apply to, because it was just, I was in my senior year of high school
Mhm.
and I didn't want to apply to high school over there in Mexico because I could barely read. I
Okay,
could barely
yeah,
read
that makes sense.
Spanish and then
Yeah.
write.
So when you went back, kind of your role was almost to wait it out? Like, we're just gonna wait out when
Yeah.
you are able to come back?
When
Okay,
just
and the expectation wasn't like, "Let's get you a job," or me imagino que no, ¿verdad? Because you were young.
Yeah, they were just like, you should wait, you should wait. And when my tia came along, she gave me that structure. She's like, okay,
Okay.
we're going to do this, and you're going to help me to do this. And she sold things in from catalogs. So
Uh-huh.
people would go to her house and they would like, we want this in size this, and da da da. And so we would go to a factory and we would get it all in like bags and She's like, you're
Mhm.
tall, you're big, help me, you're strong. And so like I would carry them. I would carry this giant ass bag and I would carry it. And then everybody rides the bus over there. So like she taught me how to ride buses. And like it was very helpful. And then again, she was closer to the plaza. So I got involved in church over there. Also going religion over there is very different from religion here because
Ooh,
allá,
okay. In
yeah,
what way?
allá es más comunidad. Like,
Oh. Mhm.
yeah, it was very. I love religion in Mexico. Mexico is very
Mm.
community, more compassionate, more respectful. I when I came back, I didn't feel the same, and I didn't
That's
like it.
interesting,
Just
yeah.
felt odd over here, and but I'm going off traffic tangent again. But yeah, that my with my tia really helped me, and then finally after a year is when I got my dad got my letter from like immigration, and
Mm.
he went out with me, and we went to Ciudad Juarez together. And Ciudad Juarez is like a surreal. I've never experienced something like that because
Why?
everybody is like when I went to the place, it's like a DMV
Mhm.
basically. You got your
Mhm.
ticket, you're waiting for your ticket, but you're by yourself. Nobody can go in with you,
Oh,
and
okay.
um, everybody's nervous. Everybody's just very
Mm.
quiet. You can feel the energy, and it's just like people are talking but not really talking, and they're just worried about their appointment, and it's just I've never experienced a feeling like that. Like that has
Interesting.
stayed with me.
Yeah.
And I had my paperwork y todo. Again, and I was 18 now, and I was just nervous and scared. And like I was almost like gonna cry because in my head I was like, I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna get it. I'm like I've done all this, but I'm not enough. I'm not enough.
Mm.
Like how
Mhm.
like why like I was just freaking out. And I remember the lady, I don't know her name and I don't remember her face. I just remember what like she told me. She's like she started talking to me and she told me her story and then I told her mine and she's like, "Oh, you're going to get it. Like why are you so nervous?
Mm.
Like you're going to get it. Like lo vas a agarrar. Like ¿para qué estás estresada? Estás desde allá desde chiquita, vienes apenitas hablas español." Like you're gonna get it. Like, why are you worried? And I was like, okay, okay. And that's when I would like kind of calm down. And then it I like to say like compare it to a DMV because you're not even sitting, you're standing. You're like in this booth and everybody's like next to each other. And
Mm.
right away I got to the guy and I was scared. I was really scared. And I like put my paperwork and I was studying and I was ready. I was like, I prepared for all the questions you're gonna give me. I'm gonna do this and that. And the guy like I bet like he saw my face just like this girl's gonna fucking cry any moment. And he goes, English or Spanish? And I'm like, what? And he goes, English or Spanish? I saw on your paperwork that you've been in the States since you were 2 years old. Do you feel
Mm.
comfortable more in English? And I like almost busted out and I was like, yeah, like
Please.
please. I tear up every time. I was like, oh fuck, yeah, please. Like I can speak Spanish, but I can communicate a little bit better in English. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna like just to let you know, like you got it, okay?
Oh,
We're just gonna do a
wow.
few things. Like I was literally almost gonna cry.
Yeah.
My nerves were so high. And he's like, you got it? I'm just gonna ask you some things and we're gonna do the whole process here. I just need and I'm like, okay, okay. I remember the lady, she's like, did you get it? And I'm like, yeah, like I was already crying. I was like, yeah, I got it.
Mm.
And then like I went outside with my dad and he's like, what happened? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? And I was like, I got it. I got it. I started crying. And then it was just, that's why todo lo que
Wow.
está pasando ahorita is just very emotional because I don't understand that feeling, dude. That
Yeah.
feeling of, first, it's expensive. Like, I can just imagine how much money my parents put in to do that.
Mhm.
It
For the
takes time.
process.
It takes years. I got lucky because it was a year, but they gave me a year to 5 year time frame. And it's
Yeah.
like I got it. Everything went like according to plan, but not everybody does.
Yeah. I'm thinking of you. You mentioned, por ejemplo, that when you were out there, you started to you had depression. Like I think, sí me imagino que parte de ti had to turn off because like you had no control over the situation. Like there was no option. It wasn't because anything bad that you did or like it wasn't a consequence of something that you did. It was something so. I mean, I see it as senseless, right? Where you have to pick up who you are, what you are, the vision you have for your dream, like for your future, your friendships, I imagine, your boyfriend. Oh my gosh, I can't. And you're 17. So, like, it's when you start to formulate a vision for the future. It's when you start to realize, oh my gosh, I'm about to be an adult. Like, what do I want out of life? What goals do I want to reach? Like, and do. Do you remember what some of those were prior to having to self deport?
I knew from like a young age that I didn't have documents, that
Mm.
I was not able gonna be able to get a driver's license, that I wasn't gonna be able to go to
Mhm.
college. So like I already had that kind of mindset that I wasn't gonna be able to do these things. I had a mindset that I was just gonna work, that I was gonna find some place to work and I was just gonna work. But I was so young that I was like, that's gonna be, let me worry about that
Mhm.
like later. I'm just gonna enjoy my time here and I'm gonna vibe here and just take it day by day. And it's not really until this whole experience that
Mm.
really like, oh, I was like, oh shit, I
It
have
made
to
it
grow up.
real.
Yeah, like I have
Okay.
to grow up. It's not always just fun parties and having fun
Mm.
here and there, because
Yeah.
life out here in Vegas is very different. It's just
Mm.
very like it's a culture shock out here because everything is so close. Like the casinos are out here, the thing, the lifestyle, y todo.
Yeah.
So I was in that at a very young age, like I want to say like 14, 15 and 16. And it's not until like 17 where it's like, okay, I have to grow up. I can't just be partying and just doing all these things. And it really taught me a lot about myself, about my culture, really. And I had to learn how to be independent. I had to go on buses by myself. I had to do this by myself.
Mm.
It was the first time that I was by myself. And like my tia was taking care of my grandma and my tia were on like taking care of me y todo, pero it was really by myself. I was
Yeah.
what am I doing y todo? And I like what the guy told me. He's like, it's nice that you were able to experience that, but it's unfortunate the way that you were experiencing it. Like,
Mm.
it wasn't your choice.
Right.
Like, so I was like, that's true. I see it. I see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really didn't have expectations. I didn't really have
Okay.
like
So
an
it
expectation.
didn't, yeah, it didn't, well, I guess I was asking that question because I'm wondering, where does like art come in, you know? So if you guys are listening in and you're not watching the video version, she has these beautiful paintings behind her. And yeah, I'm wondering like, am I skipping too far ahead or
No, no, no.
did
That's
that come in
actually
when you
perfect.
came back?
It's perfect because it kind of blends in. So like I'm so sorry. This is me. Like I go back and forward. I go back.
No, it's
But
okay. Also, you don't have to apologize. Like, don't worry. This is your story. And I think um everything is important in our story. Healing is never linear, Our stories are never just
yeah,
like a thing
woo,
happens. Like, yeah, when you go back, it's everything is connected. So, yes,
it's
please do
connected.
not
I love
worry.
that. Ooh, it gave me chills. I like that. So starting out, I was very I like to draw. So I remember fucking like when I was like 6 or 5 years old, I was in
Mm.
daycare and I would just be
Mhm.
sketching. I remember sketching a Pocahontas. And it was a big one too. And I was just sketching and sketching, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's really good, actually." Like you're so young. And I'm like, yeah, I like sketching, I like drawing, I like coloring. And it
Mm.
wasn't like until third grade when I'll find her one day, but it's so cute. My art teacher in third grade, she pulled me aside and she's like, "I see it in you." And I was
Mm.
like, "What? What are you doing?" And
What are you seeing?
and like I remember she telling me, she's like, "I tell you to do assignments and you do it different and you do it better."
Ooh.
She's like,
Mhm.
"I love seeing what you create because I love seeing what your brain works."
Mm.
And I'm like, "Oh my God, like, okay." Like I'm this third grader, I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah,
thanks."
yeah. Like, what? What?
What?
I
And
barely know that I have a brain.
I barely know. Like, I okay, thank you. But this was like the first time an actual adult like looked at me and was like, "Tienes un don. Like, lo
Mm.
tienes. Did you know?
Wow.
Did you know that you had a don?" And I was like, "No." And she told me, I remember it, and she's like, "Please continue nurturing this."
Oh.
She's like, "You have it. Okay, you need to nurture it and you need to expand it and you need to, because you just promise me you will never stop. Okay, just keep
Wow.
going because you have it and I see it." I'm like, okay, thank you. Like it was I remember it thinking about it back then and I was like, okay, that was weird, but okay, cool. But it stayed in my head. Like I'm 33 now and that really resonated with me. And
Yeah.
because going back home, I don't remember if I told my parents what she told me, but my parents always saw that I was like my mom has sketchbooks when I was a little kid.
Mm.
She still has
Mhm.
those. And they knew that I was artistic and could draw. But again, like the immigrant journey, they don't see it as a job. Like
Right.
you're
Yeah, it's not
you're a
realistic to
starving
be an
artist.
artist. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun as a hobby. You're good.
Yeah.
Like you should continue that, but as a hobby. But
Mm.
that's not going to pay your bills. So I had that
Mhm.
mindset like this is for fun. This is not going to pay, like this is not going to be a career or anything like that. So I grew up thinking that and like just doing it as a
Yeah.
hobby. And it's not until when I came back from Mexico, jumping forward, I came back from Mexico and I came back in that mindset where I was given this paper. I was given this opportunity and I had to prove myself. Okay? Like because if I fail, this paper is worthless. Like why like that
Mm.
kind of
Wow.
guilt, the imposter syndrome, todo, it really hit me. And so when I came back, I graduated with my honors from high school.
Mm.
I applied for college. I got my first job, and I todo in less than I want to say 6 months.
Okay. Oof.
Oh,
So
I
you got that that fire under you, but it was from like a place of I need to show that I'm worthy of being here or
yeah,
everything that this means. So kind of like pressure también, ¿verdad?
big time, big time. It was
Mm.
very like I want to say I'm so proud of that version, that younger version of me. because she went through all of that and she still decided to, like, I'm going to kick ass. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Pero I wish now that somebody would have pulled me aside and be like, hey, like, let's go to therapy. let's
Mm.
let's deal with
Don't we
all these
all?
let's deal with all these emotions, okay? And let's not try to
Yeah.
suppress these emotions, because
Yeah.
what you just experienced was life changing,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Your brain completely altered with this whole experience. So I'm proud of you that you're doing all of these, but you have to slow down. Like, take a
Mm.
pause, slow down, pick one thing, and then the rest, concentrate on your mental health. Because
Yeah.
after I was going and going, this was when I came back in 2012. And hice todo eso. I burnt out by 2015.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I burnt out. I was so tired. I was just like, what? Like, I'm doing all of this. Why isn't it fulfilling? Why isn't it like, why am I sad? Like, I'm getting back to being sad. Like, I should be happy by now.
Mm.
I have
Interesting.
everything that
Yeah.
was expected of me. I'm going to school. I have a job. I have a car, my boyfriend. Why am I not happy? Um, and it was really like, and going back to, I'm sorry, I could jumping, and going back to expectations. I was with my boyfriend now for 8 years in that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to move out. I wanted to, like, I'm like, maybe if I move out, like, I'll feel better. Or like, maybe if I, like, I was going to school, but maybe if I, like, try this would be a little
Yeah.
bit more better for me.
Right.
And so I was telling my mom back then, and I was like, I want to move out with my boyfriend. And she goes, nope, you can't. I was like, what? She's like, you're not married. You have to marry him. If you want to move out with your boyfriend, you have to marry him. And again, the good little Mexican daughter, I was like, okay. And so I went to him and I was like, we have to get married. And he's like, okay, let's get married.
Mm.
And
Mm.
so we got married. But it again, todo pasó bien rápido, that I
Yeah.
was just being like, I love my husband, but we went into it just because we wanted to be
Right.
independent.
Like as an exit, not an entrance in some way. I don't know if that
Mm-hmm.
made sense.
No, it
But
makes
it's like
sense.
an
It makes
Yeah.
sense. And I always tell my mom, I was like, I got married because of you. And she goes, you always say this, but you're happily married. I was like, yeah, but like, it was just like, I wish it was, again, otra cosa, different, like,
Como an
circumstances,
option.
like different
Yeah. It sounds
options.
like uh-huh, I mean, obviously to a different degree, but, like, it sounds like when you had to go to Mexico, it wasn't necessarily an option for you. Getting married, I mean, it was an option, and, like we said, we're
Yeah.
not pointing fingers or saying it was the bad thing, right? But it is interesting that, like, también in that way, you were kinda led there, to the next part of
The
what you
next,
had to do.
I like what you said in the beginning. I can't remember what it said, but it's like that expectation. Okay, what's the next expectation? Oh, this is the expectation. Okay, from here, what is the next expectation? Motherhood. Motherhood is the next expectation. So I was
Okay,
always
yeah,
just like going, going, going,
yeah.
where that was my next expectation,
And can
motherhood.
I also just name, like, I think that I know everyone listening has different stories, right? But I feel like one thing that I've seen similar is that the different circumstances aren't always taken into consideration in the projections of those that love us. So, like maybe our parents, they project out a timeline for us, but they don't necessarily take into consideration you were gone for a year and you went through trauma of sorts, right? Like it's almost como que the everything else is blurred and the vision is what needs to get complete. You're 20 something, you should be married. You're 20 something more, you should have kids. You've been renting, now you should have a house. Without fully taking into consideration things like burnout, stress, trauma. It's almost like, yeah, okay, put those things to the side because you have to, continue on this path. And sometimes you feel crazy for questioning it because so
Yes.
many people don't,
Yeah. No, and I've been not called crazy, but it's con todo lo que estoy haciendo, everybody's like, that's odd. Like they don't understand what I'm doing.
Mm,
And
mhm.
and it's just interesting because I've accepted, I'm like, I'm not on that path. Like I'm not like I was on that path for so long that it's just not that's not fulfilling me. And
Yeah.
I'm finding my own. Like and I um I like that. And it takes time. I'm 33. Like this
Me
takes
too.
time to figure it out. Me too. It
Yeah.
takes time. It figuring it out what's working, what's not working. And again,
Mhm.
I've been very privileged and very like I'm very thankful con todo lo que me ha pasado. Um and like going back to my story, like I I got married, we got a house, we got what's the next step? Children. I was like, okay, let's have
Mhm.
some kids. And like that same year, I was taking care of one of my nieces, and I was like, oh, I can do this. I like this. And
Mm.
that's what kind of gave me like, okay, I can do this. I like
The
this. And
confidence.
to
Mhm.
become a mother, and it's just, I wish again, I would have gone back and be like, hold on, hold on, hold on. Like you can be a
Mm.
mother. That's good. That's good. That's important. If that's your choice, that's good. Pero you need to be financially stable. Like
Oh, okay. Yeah.
you need to be able to support yourself, and like you have a husband, okay? You do, pero I wish somebody would have done that for me. Like she get something small, something that you can do, because at that point in my life I had a corporate job. Like I was doing a customer
Okay.
service on the
Mhm.
phone. And so like I dropped out of college, and I was like, you know what? Maybe college isn't for me. Maybe if I just focus on this and continuing this as like my career and moving up here, that would be fine.
Oh,
Pero
okay.
it wasn't a full career. Like
Mm.
um, so
Yeah.
um, so I that's what I did. I focused, and I'm very thankful for that. And it gave me that dopamine that I was searching for, because it was a fun place to work. But it really changed once I hit like 2020, when we had to work from home.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's when I started being very isolated again while raising
Mm.
children.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. Todo pasó ese año.
Mhm.
It's like it was very again,
It
proud of her, but oh fuck.
Yeah, I think those times removed a lot of the distractions that helped us numb the little
Yes.
signals that we were receiving, right? Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think, like, the little voices can get distracted by a good job from your boss or basically that external validation, and I think you're also naming something that many people experience, which is searching for fulfillment through achievement or through checking off things from, like, the list, right? The quote,
Yeah.
unquote, "major list" that many people want to accomplish, and it's really hard when it's there, but it's not quite hitting the way you thought that it would. And so then you like commit to the next part. Um, I just had a conversation with my mom about that, where she's seeing me not hit the next mark. I made this major U-turn where I was like going through the motions, and I was like, like
Yeah.
pivot. and and I imagine, and she was expressing, like, as a mom, that's really hard to witness. And I was like, I think it's because not a lot of people question the kind of like the road we're all headed towards. And so I think it would feel more comfy for you if I aligned with what everyone is doing, because it's like, oh, it's more normal. Oh, well, you're married and you're having issues. Well, that's normal, like, oh, or you're in a corporate job and you don't like it. Well, that's normal, but stay there, right?
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
opposed to like, no, maybe something's fundamentally missing and you need to search for it.
No, and that goes back with like, yes, I did everything that was expected of me, but I was always very opinionated. Like,
Oh,
por
okay.
eso, I was always like, my mom would say, eres bien explosiva. Like, you're just like, oh, because like every direction I would just be like very vocal. I don't like this. This is uncomfortable. Like, da 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 da. And I would be like, named, oh, you're ungrateful, or oh, you're so,
Mm,
you have mood swings, you're this and this. And like, I wasn't really taken seriously of what like I
you
was
were saying.
vocalizing.
Mm,
Like, for
mhm,
example, I'm so sorry, the tangent, one small tangent that I always like to point out is that my mom would teach me how to cook, and she would be like, one day you're going to serve your family, you're going to serve your husband, so you need to learn how to cook. And
mm.
I never learned how to cook because I never took it seriously, because I was like, I am serving no one. I'm never going to serve anyone. And it was then that I wish, like now I tell my daughters, I was like, you need to learn how to cook for yourself. Okay? This is
Mm,
a life
mhm.
skill that one day you have to know how to cook. My husband cooks.
Oh,
He's a cooker. He's a cook, and he teaches us how to cook. But it was just like one of those things. Just like I never fit in the box, if that makes
mhm,
sense. Like I
mhm.
was doing what was expected, but I always felt odd. Like I'm like, this doesn't. I'm doing it, but it feels weird. Like okay,
I
um,
see. I think.
it
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, maybe because we're hitting the hour mark. So I think
Awesome.
that maybe we can save like what it took to step into what you're doing now for part two. So like
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
in part
perfect.
two, yeah, we'll share the bridge between like feeling like you don't fully fit in the box that you're in, but still aligning to the box, right, as you're moving. And
Yeah.
then what it takes to step out of it, right? And to like own being outside of a box that maybe sometimes feels safer. So what do you think? We can do that for part two?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's
Okay.
oh, you are a genius. I thank you. Good job.
Perfect. Yay. Yeah, because like I said, I think all parts of your story are important. And I mean, we only get an hour, but I'm the same. I'm like, no, I need to tell you like the back story so you get the now.
I'm
But maybe for this part, I like to ask the guests to leave the listeners with a mensajito. So you've been talking to me the whole time. You can like talk directly to them. There's an audience of first gens listening to you. First, second gens listening to you. And so, yeah, if there's something that you would want to leave them with, what would it be?
you can't control the events that happen in your life, but you are in control of the reaction to them. You can't control the trauma that happens to you, but healing is your responsibility.
Hmm.
That makes sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does. Thank you so much. Actually, before I wrap this up completely, where can people find you? You have beautiful art, and I know you have a podcast, different things. So feel free to like plug yourself, basically. Like what you do, where people can find you, and then of course, we'll invite them to listen to part two.
Yeah, thank you. I am on all the socials. I'm on TikTok, Instagram under Sagrario Arte Studio. And I am working on my podcast, and it's called Sana Sana Prima. Um, and yeah, and I have some, if you're in Vegas, I have some artwork being displayed currently. And one is in the Consulado de Mexico in Las Vegas, and then another one is in the Winchester Gallery.
Ooh, cool. And do you sell your prints online,
Yes,
or
yes,
your artwork
yes. I sell my prints online as well
online?
on
Okay,
my website.
I'll make sure I link your website, your socials, and yeah, thank you so much, Yazmin, for taking us through the beginning of your story, the layers of, for example, having to self-deport, the layers of having supportive parents and a supporting husband, but still feeling the need to find fulfillment in a different way. I think a veces también nos podemos atorar behind gratitude, and gratitude is so important, but it doesn't mean that it should stop you from like pursuing that little voice that is calling your name. So I'm so excited for listeners to listen to part two. I'm excited too to hear about it. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And thank you guys for listening. If you feel like anyone in your life would benefit from listening to this episode, please make sure that you share it with your amigas, amigos, amigues. And remember, First Gen, that I love you, I love me, and I can't wait for you to love yourself. Okay? Okay, pues.
Yes.
Bye.